This is dedicated to all my beautiful queens, all my beautiful ladies out there. She's a queen. Go queen. You got it, girl. She's a queen. You better represent. Go queen. Go queen. Go. She's a queen about her business. Queen. Working hard on a mission. Yeah. Head high, purpose driven. Purpose driven. Crown on never tilted. Queen. Go queen. Go queen. Go queen. Go. Represent. You're a queen. You're a queen. Oh.
So thank you guys for joining the Q Chat podcast. So this is a nice episode where I actually have Chioma Amaethule, and she's better known as Chi, and she is the CEO and founder of NYA Love and Dating Services LLC. So Miss Chi is actually a certified matchmaker and dating specialist. So you guys, we're going to have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to ask her. So I want to go ahead and give Miss Chi the floor. How are you doing today? And introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you. I am well. Thank you for asking. Hello, everyone. My name is Chioma. I go by Chi at CHI. And again, I am the CEO and founder of NYA Love and Dating Services. Thank you for having me. And I love what I do. I love working with people and helping them find love, whether that's with someone else or within. So that is my goal every time. I think that happiness is key, no matter what we do. And I've definitely found something that I love. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the show. So I have a lot to start with. So first off, how did you decide to become a certified matchmaker and dating specialist? Like, what inspired you to even start this business?
That's a good question. A lot of things inspired me. Life inspired me. Love inspired me. I did go through a breakup that was very inspiring as well, because up until that point, I was so confident that I had my love life figured out. Like, I was with the person I was going to be with for the rest of my life. And I just knew he was the one and everything was going to go perfectly. And then the breakup happened. And I was like, oh, and it caught me off guard. In addition to that, a few years back, I saw this movie Hitch with Will Smith. I don't know if you've seen it before, but whoever has
you won't believe this. I just watched Hitch on Christmas Day for the first time. Like, I only saw clips of it, and I literally watched the whole thing on Christmas Day. Oh, so that's funny you mentioned that. I didn't mean to interrupt you with that. That's so funny you said that.
You're good. Yeah, I love that movie. And I was inspired because he was a dating coach and he was just changing lives. And I was like, you know what? I want to do that. And coming from Washington State, there isn't very many matchmakers, if any, that look like me with their own business. So that's why I wanted to start NYA Love and Dating Services and kind of bring something new and exciting for my community. So here I am. But it's been an interesting ride. I launched last February, and the pandemic just surprised me out of nowhere, And so I had to change up everything really quickly. And I went from just focusing on Washington State with then working with singles nationwide, because there was a need, right? People were they're stuck in their homes, they're quarantining, and they're lonely. And they're like, you know what? Maybe my husband or wife isn't in my state. So that's when they started reaching out to me, and my business has been growing ever since. So, yeah.
Well, I'm actually going to backtrack now, because I had a question that I was planning to ask you further on. But since you mentioned the pandemic, I'm just going to flip it up a little bit and ask you now. So one of the questions that I already intended on asking you when I was reading up on your background was, how has the pandemic affected dating life in general? I mean, I'm single myself, actually, but, I just was curious, and I've asked this question to people that are single. I've posted on like my Q Chat page sometimes on IG, like, hey, for my singles, how are you guys surviving? So I know you just said that your business actually picked up. So how do you feel the pandemic has affected dating? Because I know for some people, they felt like it would kind of, cause problems naturally, but how did it make business pick up?
So in several ways, right? In the typical dating world, a lot of people are on dating apps, and I commend you for being on dating apps, because it's really frustrating. As a matter of fact, one of my services that I offer is ghostwriting on dating apps, where I sign into the dating app as you and help you communicate and engage with people that you're actually compatible with. Instead of wasting time going back and forth on an app, I try to get you and them on a video chat session or FaceTiming as soon as possible. And people like that because you don't have to do that swiping left and right and just wondering and waiting. I do all that for you and just send you the man or the woman. So I say all that to say that people get really tired of that. It's a process and it can be really draining and exhausting. So that's where I come in. Now, when the pandemic happened, though, it forced everyone to slow down. You know, you're not going to the clubs anymore to meet people. You're not really going out as much at all. And then the typical places where you'd run into someone you're interested in just were not accessible to you. I do have some clients that like to go to the gym and they're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't meet anybody because I'm not going to the gym. I'm like, okay, you know, so that's where I come in. Like I may join a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group that has to do with singles that are really into fitness if I'm looking for you, right? So it kind of forced people to step outside of the norm and focus on building a connection with someone new. And that's what I like about the pandemic. Now, I'm not a fan of the pandemic. I'm not, not at all. But I have found that when I'm setting up virtual dates, it's actually forcing people to connect. You're not jumping in the bedroom so quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what usually happens. Like first date, ooh, I like him, he's fine, or she's gorgeous, I'm trying to, yeah, you know. But now you have to focus on, oh, so what are you looking for? Like, where is this going? Do you want children? Do you have kids? People are having more in-depth conversations in a setting where it's just them in the comfort of their home, communicating with a potential partner. And I love that. So that's me looking at the beauty that has come of the pandemic. If I'm trying to be positive, because you have to be positive, especially right now. So, yeah.
Now, I know you mentioned I've really never heard of that. Like that's really interesting. So dating apps, okay. I have to ask about this because I feel like that's definitely been a hot topic for singles. Some people are all for dating apps, some people are not. I've tried dating apps in the past. They've been definite hits and misses for sure.
Everybody can relate to that. Everybody can relate to that. It's not easy. It's rough out there.
Right. So what's your take on it? I do feel nowadays for singles, dating apps are definitely more common. I know in the past it was kind of like, you know, it was that stigma that if people get on a dating app, you know, you're going to be a serial killer or something. It's not safe. But I think it's definitely more acceptable now just because, this is minus the pandemic. I'm not necessarily referring to the pandemic, but, you know, for working professionals, it just seemed like the way to go because people are typically working. It's like, okay, where else am I going to meet somebody? You know, and it's kind of not like in the past, you know. So what's your take on it? I'm assuming you obviously feel like it's a good thing, but I know some people have reservations on it or some single people have actually never tried it. So what's your take on dating apps? I mean, obviously I know you, since this is a part of your business, what's your take on it for those singles who are just like, I don't know. And also with the pandemic, you know, like, I guess, do you feel like dating apps, of course, have ever used for? Are people really going on dating apps and finding their spouse or actual significant relationships?
So it's a mixed bag, right? And everyone is different. There's some people that no matter what, they don't like to engage. They don't like that initial going back and forth on the dating app and then starting over like, so what do you like to do? So it really just depends on who you are. I mean, I don't knock it. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of my clients that still use dating apps, but it's just to keep them engaged and like to practice. And then you never know how you're going to meet someone. My goal when it comes to matchmaking is always to try to find someone that you're compatible with, someone that you can grow and have something long-term with. Now, that's not to say that you can't find that on a dating app, but the dating app doesn't always talk about triggers. It doesn't always talk about your past mental health issues, right? It doesn't talk about how many kids you have specifically. There is one dating app though, it's called Real Black Love. And it does have a section where you can actually put that you have children and how many. Um, so I love that. A lot of apps don't go that in depth, but there's certain questions that people just want to know. And if I know what you're looking for and I have that criteria, I can help you find it. So dating apps are helpful, yes, because you can meet people and romance has happened and can come from dating apps, but not always. And not everybody likes that back and forth. And there's some people that are very introverted and they don't really like the idea of going on a dating app or putting themselves out there or creating a profile. They're like, I don't know what to say. And that's kind of where I come in. But really, it just all depends on that individual. I'm for whatever makes that person happy in their dating life, period. So, yeah.
Do you think the dating world has changed? In particular, I noticed that when I was reading up on you, that your typical clients are aged 28 to 68, and that's a fair range, a wide range, I would say. So let's say, you're recruiting your clients are coming to you. What's the difference in, obviously, maybe the 28-year-old client, she's single, she doesn't have children, and then the 68-year-old who maybe they're starting life over, they're obviously in a different stage of life. How do you approach those different clients as far as the style and how you choose to match make them?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. Now, the first step, period, before even scheduling a consultation with me is to send me your love language results. That already tells me exactly how you receive love and how you want to give love as well in return. That's very important to me. But that's the first step regarding whether you're 28 or 60, I don't care. You got to get it done. You got to send it in to me. That way I can actually get an idea of who you are as a person. And then I have specific questions that you answer prior to the consultation, like how is your heart feeling today? What are your thoughts about dating nowadays? Like, how are you feeling? That sort of thing to kind of gauge who this person is and where their heart is at. But then we get on a 1 hour consultation, just like this, just like you and I are virtually, and we talk about everything. I want to know about your triggers. I want to know about your deal breakers. I want to know what makes you happy, what makes you laugh, your turn ons, your turn offs. We talk about past relationships too. And if a 28-year-old is coming to me and they're just, I want to date someone, it's typically between 28 to 32. If you're 28, you usually go up to 32, just depending on who you are. And again, it's going to look a lot different than when you're 68, but the criteria is the same. I want to take the time to learn about you and what your heart desires. A lot of people, I will say, regardless of what their age is, have been through a lot of things, a lot of difficult things. There have been a lot of trials and errors and tribulations, and people are just hurt. Like people are hurt. So not only is my job to find people a compatible match, but it's also trying to uncover all of that pain and heartache that's kept you in this box, that's making you feel unworthy or not undeserving of love, or whatever your head is filled up with from a prior ex. That's all this stuff that I have to unshovel first. So I enjoy what I do, but it's so much deeper than matchmaking because I actually care. So I don't want to cuss. I actually really care. I really care.
You give an F, you give it an S. You can. We're adults.
I give all of that. I give an F. I give an S. I'm here for it. And I've heard a lot of inspiring stories of people that have been through a lot of stuff, but they're still ready. Like, you know what? I still want to try this though, because this is one thing I haven't tried. And that's when it comes to matchmaking, I encourage you, if you're trying everything else and you haven't tried matchmaking, try it. Because then at least right? Because you never know where it may lead. And it can be something beautiful. Just don't be afraid to try something new. Stop sticking to your box. Get out of that box. You got to get out of it. So regardless of how old they are, I always have a really direct approach. And we dig deep. There's been some tears that have been shed during my consultations, but also a lot of laughs. But that's what it's about. It's about touching the heart and finding out what you truly desire.
So my next question, and I actually have two questions that tied in from what you said, but one in particular from what you just mentioned, and I'm glad that you touched on people that have experienced past hurt. They've gone through some stuff. Breakups aren't easy. Some people have been through terrible breakups. So they've been through awful divorces. And I know me personally, just having gone through all of the above, with dating, obviously, like they say, you don't want to bleed on the next person. So there's a lot to unpack. And then I think naturally when people have gone through some bad ish, you get a little, you want to meet someone else, but then on the flip side, it's like, I just did not want to deal with the same drama, or, you don't want to meet the same person. So one question I do want to ask you is, what's your take on people who they have that desire for that partner, but however, because of certain things, they've simply given up and they feel like, hey, it's a done deal. I don't feel like I'm going to meet that person. What would you say to that individual?
So, I mean, it's a choice, right? There are no guarantees when it comes to love. Like we're all just shooting the dice, playing the cards, and just hoping to hit the jackpot. I cannot guarantee that's going to be glorious or beautiful the whole time because sometimes love just isn't. But what I can guarantee you is I'm going to do my very best to help you so you can grow and move past that. One thing that bothers me, but I understand it so well, is that people let their past relationships dictate the rest of their love life. There are 7.8 billion people in this world. You're gonna let one person, okay, you know what? Let's just dig a little deeper. You're gonna let 1 or 5 relationships that have failed dictate the rest of your life? Like, we have one life to live. So while you're on this life, give it your all. Yes, sometimes you're gonna get hurt, but that's just a part of love. My hope is that I could just show you the beautiful side of it and get you to focus on the glorious things that come with dating. You know, those endorphins, that excitement, someone returning a text back within seconds, like someone being communicative and consistent, you know, and everything is just flowing well. You have to continue to try. You just do. I know that it's hard, but I'm telling you, there's always somebody else that has a worse story than you. Like I've heard some really heartbreaking, heart-wrenching things that at the end of the day, they're wiping their face like, but I'm ready. And I'm like, okay, all right. But I will say this, there has been some instances if I feel that they're kind of still wallowing a little bit, or they seem way too hesitant because maybe like, oh, I just don't want him to get, I don't want to be cheated on again, or I just don't, or all women lie. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? This is something that I think maybe you should talk about in therapy. I have no issue advising someone to seek therapy if I feel like it's best. Because again, I want you to be the best part of yourself when I introduce you to someone else so you can be ready, right? So there's that piece. But no one can make you be ready for this, right? It's an amazing experience, but you have to want it for yourself and you have to believe in it because it's an ongoing process. It really is. But once you find someone that you truly mesh with, like someone that truly gets you and it's just like amazing, you're like, where have you been all my life? That's worth it. That is worth it to me. So
kudos, sis, on mentioning therapy. Everyone that listens to my podcast knows that I talk about therapy a lot. And I'm glad you mentioned that because to me, I feel like that's another component on being healthy for the next relationship. I think some people, they don't touch on that enough. The goal is to have a healthy relationship when you've gone through some past drama and trauma and all of the above. You have to heal. You know, you're not healed. You're not going to have a successful, healthy, keyword healthy, I'll say it again, healthy relationship. You know,
yeah, it's true.
You know, if it's not going to be healthy, you don't need it, you know. So have you ever, and I think you kind of touched on it, have you ever had this people that have approached you in a consultation and you thought to yourself, I don't think I'm going to take this client? Has that happened?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. So what I love about having my own business is I get to determine who I'm going to find love for. You know what I'm saying? And if your energy or your vibe is off, I'm just not going to do it. I've had women that are like, I mean, honestly, he just needs to make 6 figures and have a 6-pack. I'm like, okay, but what else? Like, let's dig a little deeper. Oh, well, that's really it. I mean, he has to be really tall. I'm like, okay, you already said that basically. But we get so fixated on what he has to look like or what she has to be like, and we forget to dig deeper. So if I find that people are just being really surface, it's not going to work with me. I just don't. I need more. I need to know more about who you are. Or men that's, oh, she has to have a really big behind and like, what? Are you serious? That's it? So, but that's the thing, that's human nature. We are by default a very shallow society. It's just the world we live in. But because I get to choose who I want to work with, that's the beauty of it all. So I've had to turn people down, and I always say, you know what? This has been great. I wish you the best of luck in your search. That's how I conclude it, because I'm being open and honest. Like, I do wish you the best of luck in your search, but I don't think that this is going to work out for me. However, I do wish you the best of luck in your search. And if I know a matchmaker, because I have a wide database of matchmakers and dating specialists that I can refer to, that I feel like their energy might match better, I can always refer them out, you know? But when it comes to working with me, your vibe has to be right, and you have to have your heart in the right place. Because if I don't like it, I don't want to work with it. Simple. Yeah.
Do you think, just in your expertise with a lot of singles that you've come across, and I think sometimes people don't think outside the box, and I'm glad you did touch on that too. I feel like sometimes people, I hate to use the term shallow, but like you said, they don't really reach past the surface sometimes. I just had a conversation about this with one of my good friends who's actually a married male. We were just talking about, sometimes people, and there's nothing wrong with having expectations and standards. So I will put that out there. I'm just a strong believer, and I'm speaking as someone who is single. I just feel like I've come across people, male and female, who they'll say, oh, I'm looking for a 10. I want the 6-pack and blah, blah, blah. And she don't have a 6-pack, or I've met some men too, well, I want a 10. I want somebody that looks like Beyonce and blah, blah, blah. But, you don't look like Michael B. Jordan. So it's like, do you think sometimes people have unreal, and I hate to use the term, but I really can't phrase it any other way. Do you feel sometimes people truly have unrealistic expectations?
Girl,
and the second piece of that, not only do they have unrealistic expectations, do you think sometimes people just don't think outside the box, as far as, hey, get out of your own way, and just stop having this picture in your mind of quote unquote perfection? Do you think some people, that's the thing that kind of stalls them, and that's some of the reasons people are single or going through the same circle of, not having successful relationships?
Yes. I am very straightforward and honest with my clients. So they know that I care, because I'm not going to just feed them a line because it sounds good or just try to appease them. I want to be as direct, honest, and straightforward with you as possible. There are people, some of my clients, that are more difficult to match than others. And I make that known. Like, this may take me longer because you're looking for a man in their 40s or 50s that's God-fearing and wants to be celibate and still wants to have children before marriage. You know what I mean? And so there's different aspects, but I have no issues telling people to be more realistic. And they like that. My thing is, if you want someone that's going to lie to you just to appease you or say things that you want to hear, I'm not the matchmaker for you. And I highly advise you go seek counsel somewhere else, because I want people to know that I'm always going to keep it real with you and keep it 100, because that's what I want in return. I'm trying to help you find a life-term partner. This is not a game to me. I take it very seriously. So speak on how you feel. And I understand if you want this and that in a partner, but I also need to know why you're searching so deeply. Like, have you looked within? What is it that makes you feel like you have to have someone that, oh, they have to have this? What if I find you a man that checks off your boxes, but he's 3 inches shorter than what your ideal must have is? Like, can we talk about that? So I've had really in-depth conversations with people after the consultation. Like, look, I know you said you wanted A, B, C, and D, but he's A, B, D, and E. So these are why I feel like this person would be great for you. Take this match, have a conversation with them, and see how things go, but give it a try. Step outside of what you think is meant for you. That's another thing. Like, people keep choosing the same type of partner over and over and over and over again. Then they're like, well, I don't know what happened. I can tell you what happened. It's a pattern. So have someone that knows you for you, someone who's taken the time to truly know what your patterns are, what your deal breakers are, the issues that you're battling with, and is going to pair you with someone else that can be compatible with that, and just see where it goes and get out of your head of all your expectations. But yes, unrealistic expectations, it's common, but again, it is human nature. People want what they want, they like what they like. That's fine. I'm not knocking it, but we're going to have a conversation if I feel like it's necessary. I have no issues bringing you back to earth, because this is what matters. The heart. That's it. So.
Now, this may be a controversial question, but this is something that actually my mentor in my mind, Issa Rae, I've heard her mention in the past, just about African-American women seeking outside of their race. And she's actually not the only one that said it, but I know she mentioned something about dating Asian men, things like that. And, I also heard other people speak about, African-American women who are single, that, maybe we should look outside our own race. What's your take on that? Do you think that's a necessity? Like, that's the only way to find someone, just what's your takes on that? Because I've heard so many different things about that. Oh, well, we need to date outside our own race. Like, I've heard this so many times to the point that it's like, ugh, like, okay, I get the, people, I don't know if they're saying it too much, but it's just kind of getting redundant. What's your take on that?
So if someone were to go to my website right now, and I have no issue saying this, if you were to go to my website right now, it predominantly shows Black and African people. That's all you see on my website. Now, as far as my reviews go, it's everyone. You'll find every ethnicity on there, because my thing is I'm not going to turn someone away for the race. But predominantly, if you are coming to me as a matchmaker, you should know that my database has predominantly been filled with both Black and African people. So if I have someone, a client of mine, that tells me that they're interested in dating or in all races, or they're open to all ethnicities, then that's perfectly fine. If someone else comes into my database, they have to be open to dating Black people or African people, because that's who's in my database. But I'm not going to knock any of my clients who are Black or African American. They're like, you know what? I'm open to all races. I've never tried it, but I'm open. If I find someone that's compatible with them, that is also open to dating Black or an African person, then yes, I would pair them together if they're both open to it. However, I have no issues, and I want everybody to know this. I always make it very clear that I am for my community and the people that love my community. So meaning what that means is, again, if any other race apart from Black or African comes to me for matchmaking services, you better love my people. You better know that predominantly the African American and Black community is who I'm rocking with. African people, those are my people. That's what I build my business on, because it's lacking. There are not very many matchmakers and dating specialists that specialize in the Black community. But I'm not going to knock anyone for being a different race or ethnicity if they are truly wanting to build with someone who's Black or African, as long as my client is open to all races. I hope that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I love that. And I feel like sometimes and I mean that as African American women, sometimes we're under too much pressure, and sometimes you're made to feel guilty for saying, hey, I want a Black man. Or on the flip side, someone that says, hey, I'm open to dating outside my own race. Like, people should be free to do what they want to do. So, I just wanted to get your take on that, because I hear that so much, just lecturing Black women on what we should do, to find a man.
That's the thing. And it's a thing. I always encourage people to do whatever makes you happy, but just be true to yourself. I will say though, predominantly, most of my clients in my database are Black women and men looking for other Black women and men. However, there are some clients that I have that are not Black or African, but they're open to all races or ethnicities. And they understand that predominantly in my database, that's who I have, because that's my demographic, that's my niche. And I'm not changing that, because I want to be for my people. As long as people have an understanding of that, we can always move forward. But I'm not going to turn somebody away because of their race, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. So walk me through the steps. So let's say we have Tiana, and she's single, and she's come across NYA. What's the steps when you get that first initial client? Walk me through the steps on just how you go through having that first client. Okay.
So they usually find me different ways, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or referrals and word of mouth. I'm so grateful for my referrals and word of mouth. That makes me feel so good when someone's like, oh, my friend had a really great experience with you, so that's why I'm here. I'm like, yay, because that makes me feel like I'm making a difference. Like, you didn't even know about me until someone else told you about me. So I'm doing something right. But again, the first step is always going to be for you to send me your love language results, period. I got to have them, period. And then again, it's the consultation. Now, once I decide to have them on board as a client, after the consultation, I will then run a background check. It is mandatory for all my clients that I do a background check on you. The things that I'm looking for predominantly is any recent domestic violence charges. I'm so sorry, we're not gonna be able to move forward. Rape charges, anything dealing with children, just not okay. If you shoplifted like 27 years ago, I'm not gonna knock you for that, but I'm looking for stuff that is recent and stuff that is alarming. And then I'll just say, you know what, I did find something that was frightening to me, or I don't feel comfortable moving forward. And then I can also send them a copy of the background check so they can see what I see, because I think everyone has a right to know what's out there in public information for them, right? Mm-hmm. So I do that, and then that's the end of it. I wish them the best of luck in their search. But if I don't find anything concerning in the background check, the next step is for them to send me 3 pictures. One of them has to be full body, because you're not about to catfish me, and you're not about to catfish a match, which is why I start off with doing virtual consultations. I want to see your face, and I want to make sure that the face I'm seeing right now is the same picture that you're sending me. And I asked for 3, one of which again has to be full body, because again, I want to make sure that whoever I'm matching you to loves you for all of you, right? And then I want one where you're in your element. Maybe it was your birthday, or you were feeling yourself that day, or you just had a really good hair day, whatever the case may be. I want to see that picture. And then the third is a freebie. I've had people send me pictures of them and their dogs to show that they really like their pets. them and their niece, whatever the case may be, or you playing a sport that you love. I don't care, but just know this is going to go on your file as a representation to you and for other matches that I could be introducing you to. So I'd have people be mindful of that. And then the process starts. Now, once you become my official client and you're all paid up and you've signed the agreement and we're good to go with my 3 pictures and your background check is clear, I am looking for you. High, far, low, between, whether I'm getting ice cream at the grocery store, pumping gas at the gym, it does not matter. I will approach anyone, anytime, any place, anywhere, if I feel there may be a compatible match for you, period. So that's how it works.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's really amazing. So what are some of your success stories? Have you had any people that you work with that boom, they got married, had babies, like what are some of the, what do you consider a success story with a client? I guess maybe I should start with that first.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm hoping that I get some proposals soon or a marriage, but I literally have to be patient with the process because I did launch like right before a pandemic. I launched in February, excited, Black History Month, the month of love. And then March was like, psych, change everything. So I had to get creative. How am I going to appeal to people and find them matches where they can't even touch them yet? Like, you got to stay 6 feet apart. Let's do a virtual date first, right? So I found that me using the negative things that happen to life to my advantage has been really helpful. There's going to be a lot of negative Nancy's that come and have a conversation with me. And then by the end of the talk, they're like, you know what? I'm ready. I'm like, good, but that's the thing. My focus is to always help people through this process because it's not easy. And sometimes what you're looking for is going to be difficult to find. But again, it's important to set realistic expectations. For instance, there's some women that want to date a man that's over 6 feet tall and makes 6 figures with no facial hair. This is a true story. And I'm like, wait, he can't. I'm just not really big on facial hair. I was like, and you, okay. Oh, okay. Grown children out of the house. Okay. So there's all these different things. Like, I'll look for you, but I'm telling you, there's some things that you may just have to like wiggle on a little bit, especially if he's crossing every other box that you have. I'm sorry, checking every other box that you have. So I say all that to say that sometimes the success is in someone discovering something about themselves that they didn't know before. Or like I had one woman say that before she didn't mind a man that snores, but then she started dating someone that introduced her. And I told her from jump that he snores. And I was like one of her deal breakers. And she's like, you know what, I could work as a check, but I just really like him because he's so sweet. And you know what, girl, he told me I snore too. And I was like, see, would you look at that? You snore too. You guys just snoring together. But that's one beautiful thing of just discovering new things about yourself and learning to be kind of lenient on things. And then like, having love blossom. There are some times that I feel I'll have a feeling about someone. So I'll reach out to them for a complimentary consultation. And that's one of my favorite success stories because literally the man that I matched her with, I gave her a complimentary consultation. I was like, let me just talk to you and let me just give me a chance to try to find you love. And she was like, I don't know. I was like, come on, just give me a chance. So she gave me a chance and I got her love language results. We're talking and everything. I'm like, okay. So I found her a gentleman. She lived in the DMV area. I found her a gentleman also in the DMV that literally checked off every single box. And it was good for her because she didn't really want to have kids, but he already had, I think, 3 children and he was divorced. So, but she was fine with dating somebody with kids. She was fine with dating somebody who was divorced or widowed. So it worked out. But she is just over the moon. She's like, it's the best date I've ever had. He's the best man. You can have done better. You've given me a gift that I can never repay you for. And I'm just like crying. I'm emotional. So when I get stuff like that from my clients, I'm just like, oh, like it touches my heart. It does. And it makes it worth it for me. It makes me realize that this is why I started this business. Moments like this, because she wasn't a believer at first. I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical. This is compliment. Is it really free? Like, well, you're gonna have to pay for the package, but the consultation, yeah, it's free. Like, just talk to me, but now she's one of my greatest success stories and she's so happy. They're going on a 4-day trip for the New Year's Eve weekend that he planned. Like, he just put it together. I'm like, okay, because she needed someone else going to take initiative. And that was something I looked for, but she gave it a chance and now she's happy, like really, really happy. And I just cannot wait till I get my first marriage. I just launched. I have to be patient. I'm trying to be patient.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting. I love it. So.
Oh yeah, it's too early right now for someone to get married when you just started in February. So.
It is. But you never know.
Welcome to Avenue Row, your #1 upscale hair salon in Baton Rouge. At Avenue Row, our #1 goal is to help get your hair into its healthiest state. We now offer our luxury hair care product line to assist you while maintaining your hair at home. Each product is sulfate and paraben free, designed for all hair types. Visit our website to purchase your luxury hair care and schedule your appointment. Avenue Row, pick your avenue.
Yeah, true. So obviously, we talked about the pandemic. There's no way to not mention the pandemic when it comes to dating. So as far as just the literal act of dating, going out, meeting people, and obviously we gotta save our lives. We gotta be safe.
Right.
Do you think that right now it kind of opens the playing field to make it more acceptable to kind of just have like a relationship that really starts slow? Since you're matchmaking, is it more common now to meet people that are really just going to kind of talk more before they meet in person now? Like, is it more common now for people to maybe talk for a way longer duration of time? And in addition, what's your take on long distance relationships? Like when you matchmake, do you just look regionally, or do you look all over now since, things are a little different with going out, things of that nature?
Okay, so those are good questions. I do work with singles nationwide. And one of the questions that I actually ask during the consultation is, are you open to long distance? And some people are. I'm finding most people are now because of the pandemic and because, well, obviously he or she is not here. So they're just like, you know what, let me see what's out there. But then there's some people like, honestly, no, it's just not for me. And either way, whatever your take is on it, just be honest with me. Tell me what you can and cannot handle, because I need to know that moving forward. But yeah, I have no issues making long distance matches. The majority of my, I'd say 60-40, 60 in favor of long distance relationships, 40% have been where they are. It's been higher with long distance because people are they're willing to explore somewhere else. And as far as it being slow, again, that just it just depends on the union and the connection. There's some people that are like, you know what, we've been video chatting for a month now, and I think we're finally ready to meet. Other people, like after that first consultation, the first time talking to them too and engaging, I'm ready to see what's up. I want to meet them in person. Like, we're gonna go get our COVID testing. We're gonna meet up. And you are grown adults, so I can't tell you, no, you might want to wait a little bit. If you feel the vibe and energy is right, go for it. Obviously, I saw something in you too when I paired you. So I'm not going to knock whatever your heart leads you to do. So, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when
And
I was reading,
I do want to touch on this. For long distance, though, it can only work if both parties are willing to communicate, compromise, and be consistent. That's the thing. Once you start dwindling off of that, it's just going to fall off. Because that whole out of sight, out of mind thing, it does make sense. Make sure you can do Zoom dates, FaceTime dates, whatever it is to keep you both engaged, because it's not easy, but it is worth it when it's done right. So.
Right. So when I was reading your press kit, one line struck me. So when you were describing the clients, it said single, entanglement free, and serious about their search to find love. So have you just came across some people who, and I know you mentioned, we talked about some no-goes, like, okay, unfortunately, I cannot take you on as a client. Do you find that some people are in entanglements and they don't realize, because like I said, I'm single. I've definitely had men approach me wanting to date. And once they describe some of their situations, I'm like, ew, like, no, like, sorry, you have children, toddlers, no, like, and you just broke up with blah, blah, blah. Some of them I've met, like, they're still with so-and-so, we're splitting. No. So have you come across some people who they come to you and they're like, hey, I want to have NYA, help me find that person. And then they read down the list and it's like, wait a minute, you're in an entanglement, sir or madam. Like, have you had some situations where some people aren't aware that they're in an entanglement and you may want to fix that before you move on to find love?
Yeah, I have. I just feel like some people don't know until they're told, honestly. So I ask questions. I love asking questions. And what I love about being on a virtual space is I could just look at your face expressions. Are you twiddling your thumbs? Are you getting sweaty? Are you like unbuttoning the collar of your shirt? What's happening right now? Like, what are you going through when I ask you these questions? If I were to find you a match 1 week from today that I feel like checks off all your boxes and is exactly what you're looking for, would you be ready to engage in something real? Oh, you mean like next week? Oh, you mean serious? Like oh, actually, no, but there's a woman that I've been, sir, come on now. Madam, slow down now. Let's just have a talk about this. my thing is there's a difference between wanting someone because you want and are ready for a genuine relationship and just being lonely and wanting someone to fill that void. I need people to know the difference. So there's certain
Mm.
questions that I asked I've been able to pinpoint. But there's nothing wrong with actually being ready for that person and also being lonely at the same time, especially when you are dating during a pandemic. Like what? So there's things that people just need to be more mindful of. But I ask questions. I ask questions and I pay attention to how they're answering my questions. But yeah, entanglement, that's not gonna work for me. I don't have time. It's not for me. I wish them well on their search.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So with the Q chat and Go Queen, I basically, and ironically, actually, this is how Go Queen came about. There was a guy who was trying to date me, and he inboxed me on Facebook one time, and he just made like a little comment. It was like, oh, I can be at your house. Now, mind you, I hadn't seen him in like 20 years. And he made a comment, I could be at your house tonight and blah, blah, blah. So I had mentioned, oh, it's not that type of party. So
Right.
maybe a month later, he sends me this long, lengthy, rude message saying how, I just wanted to let you know when you said it's not that type of party, I'm not some dog you can give rules to. Now, ironically, this dog actually was in an entanglement. Come to find out, was not fully single anyway. So I completely read him in a nice professional way, like basically in layman's terms, I'm not the one that you're going to speak to that way.
Right.
Deuces. So maybe a week later, I made a Facebook post just telling women, hey, to all my single friends out there, I just want to let you guys know you are the privilege, the prize, the package. Hence,
Yeah.
Go Queen. So it's just ironic. So what's your take? Because I talk to women all the time, like, do not settle and know your worth, because I feel like when you're in tune to that, it eliminates spending 5 dates on the person who you knew was an entanglement from the first message. It just, I feel like it all ties in. So obviously, since you work with both males and females, let's touch on what's your take on just knowing your self-worth, because we talk about that a lot. What's your take on just all your clients, single men and women, knowing your self-worth and value to find that partner? Because I feel like that is important, to know who you truly are and to really respect yourself so that you know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Yeah. So my take is knowing yourself and loving yourself is always key. I know that we all have insecurities, right? So there's going to be some days we feel more beautiful than others. There's going to be some days where men feel like they're more confident than others. It just happens, right? But at the end of the day, if you're dealing with someone that does not make you feel good, like they don't bring any light or energy or positive vibes into your life, you have to cut them off. Because I think a lot of people get stuck in these, I want to fix him or her, or she's damaged, I'm trying to show her what a real man is. Don't, if they are damaged or they have their issues, we all have our issues, but what are you doing with those pieces? People want to talk about, oh, I'm just broken. But are you picking those pieces up and attempting to glue them together? Or are you just talking about you're always shattered or just damaged and this is all it's going to be? So I think it's very important to know yourself and know what you deserve. Forget how you feel and remember what you deserve. Because we all get caught up in like here, like, oh, well, I feel that he's great for me. I feel that, okay, well, he could be, but is he though? Does he speak to your soul? Does he lighten you up? Does he add to the happiness of your life? I hate when people say, oh, I need this to make me happy. No, you don't. Happiness comes from within, but someone can add to your happiness. And that's a beautiful thing, right? So how about we focus on that? I think it's very important, male or female, to yes, know your worth, know what you bring to the table, and never, ever, ever be afraid to eat alone, period. And once you master that, you're good. Even me, back in my 20s, I used to have a couple slip ups where I just wanted to save them. Like, oh, all I have to do is speak life into this man and just, he's going to be great. He's going to be the next Obama. He just needs a strong woman like me by his side. And I end up drained. I've even made the mistakes early, like later in life, you know what I'm saying? But then I had to check myself, like, why do you keep trying to fix people? Why not just deal with the man that already got it together? You don't have to be perfect, but I think it's just human nature. Where women, we like to help. Sometimes we like to feel needed. A lot of women just do. And so that's the type of pattern that a lot of them find themselves in. But stop for a second and notice that this is a pattern and address it and then move forward. So yes, knowing yourself, whether you are a man or a woman, is always key. And knowing what you deserve. Stop putting up with stuff. Stop it.
Yes. I think with women in general, and I've made these mistakes, Definitely. And I have no qualms in admitting that. I think women in general, we're nurturers naturally. And like you mentioned, with that nurturing quality comes the fixing element. And I think some of us are conditioned even as children, be polite, speak to people in particular way. I'm from the South, so it's particular things that we're told. And I know with me personally, my parents have been married. Actually, they just made their 55th wedding anniversary. So I was kind of conditioned a lot just on, you have to be married at a particular age. You're supposed to have X amount of kids. That was regurgitated into me so much that I had that fixing element, so even people that I've dated now, a lot of them, I knew they had some things going on, but it's like, my just me alone and all the things that they're saying, this would be enough. No, it will not. And sometimes, like I said, and I wrote this recently, but sometimes we have to realize some people have expiration dates, but I think we have to understand that that's perfectly okay. That's the beauty of dating. When you date someone, you don't have to marry them. Like, you can just date them and have fun. And if it doesn't work out, you can wish them well and move on. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just think sometimes we don't embrace the single life. That's the beauty of being single. Like, you can stick and move how you want to.
Right.
Just don't hurt anybody in the process.
Correct. See, and that's the thing. You can also be single and move how you want to and still hurt someone unintentionally just by being you and speaking your truth. That's the point. But although I think it's important to continue dating and, see what's out there and just get to know people for who they are on the inside and say, like, you know what, I think I can really do this with you long term. Also, always, always, always date with a purpose. Stop wasting time. Like, especially if you survived 2020 when a lot of people didn't make it out. I'm just keeping it 100. Spend every moment of your life on this earth doing what makes you happy, right? But with purpose. Everything should be done with purpose and passion. Because I promise you, your life will be so much more fulfilling when you include purpose and passion in every endeavor that you pursue, whether that's dating, the work field, a dream or goal you want to accomplish, everything. So,
Yes, I love that. Dating with purpose, definitely. And that's the thing, I feel like everyone should have intention behind anything that you're doing. And you said the key word, purpose. If your purpose is to date with the intention of marriage, that's something that needs to be out there from the beginning. If your intention is to date just to have fun, you're not looking for anything serious, you need to share that with the people that you're coming across. Because as you said, it will save a lot of time from being wasted. Right. So before we end everything, and this was a great conversation. I definitely feel that single women in particular, the queens that listen, I think they're going to pick up on some very good gems. So before I have you give everyone all your contact information, I do want to end with the famous question that I've been asking all of my guests. And that is, how do you define a queen? So I know you're working with a lot of awesome women, like you stated, that are looking for love. So you met some amazing women, obviously, and men too, our kings. But for the women just that are listening, they're single and they have a lot going on and they're not ready to give up on love. Just all the women that you've met, how would you define a queen? And what would you say also to inspire those single queens to just keep their head up and to stay focused and to inspire them to know that if they're truly looking for love, it is still out there for them?
I love that. Yes. How would I define a queen? A woman who sits on her throne unapologetically. You deserve that right to sit there. And I know that there's going to be all types of hurricanes and storms and trials and tribulations just being a woman, especially a Black woman in America, just keeping it 100. But believe that you've earned that place and you deserve to be there on the throne. And you don't have to apologize for being who you are, but own it when you need to work on things, because no one's perfect. We all have our flaws. When it comes to women and you said believing in love, that they're worthy, is that what?
Yeah, so for the single queens that are listening who, they're looking for love right now, what would you say to just inspire them to just know that, hey, that he's out there, or just to stay positive and to not give up on dating and to not give up on love in general.
Yeah, so I would say that he or she, however they identify, I do help members of the LGBTQ community just as well. But I'll say, however you identify, whatever you're looking for, there are 7.8 billion people on this world. Some of them, yes, are married or in an entanglement situation. But if you keep doing the same things, again, you're going to get the same results. So try something new and step out of the box, right? If you really want to try matchmaking, then open yourself up to it. Have a consultation. It doesn't even have to be with me. Just Google matchmakers in your area. If you want to find someone that's in your area, whatever the case may be, and have the experience for yourself. See how it goes. Get a sense of their vibe and energy. Of course, I would love to work with you, but but I'm not going to just say this is just for me, because there are other amazing matchmakers out there. But just try something new and just believe that you are worthy. I don't think that people give themselves enough credit. Like, people like to beat themselves up, like, oh, I don't know, I'm too this, I'm too that. I promise you, there's somebody out there that's going to love you from the skin on your body to like every single hair on your head, down to your toes, even the pinky toe. You know what I mean? There are people that will love you for all of that. So, just show up as you, be honest on you, never stop working on you, right? We are all works in progress. And then just keep the faith and just believe and try something new. Stop doing the same thing, like I'm playing, there's nobody out there. Okay, well, you go to the same place every day, you're on the same dating app using the same profile picture that hasn't been updated in I don't know how long, with the same whack, opening. Like, no, you got to try something different, switch it up, go live your life. But stop getting so comfortable. You got to be uncomfortable sometimes to make things happen. Just saying. So yeah, respectively.
I love it. So Chi, thank you so much. And once again, this is Miss Chioma Amaifule, and I'm going to give you the chance to say your name again in case I butchered that. You are the CEO and the founder of NYA Love and Dating Services, LLC, the certified matchmaker and dating specialist. So guys, if you, all my queens and kings out there who listen to this episode when we air it, if you guys are looking for love and you want to try something different, hey, matchmaking may be the thing for you. So I want you to go ahead and tell everyone how they can find you, give them all your social media information, also all your contact information, because we may have some people that they're ready to find that king or queen, and they may want to come to you to get that match.
Yes. Okay. So my website will be the first place to start because it has my bio. You can read my reviews. Just get more of an insight on what I am, who I am, and what I do. That website is www.nyaloveanddating.com. That is my website. That is my baby. Anything that you want can be answered on that particular platform. That website is very, very thorough. However, for those that feel like they need a little bit more information, there's also a contact form that you can fill out with your name and just saying, hi, I have this question about this. How does it exactly work? And I may refer you back to my website, or we can schedule a consultation, but I'll always be the next step is to get a consultation because I want to see your face. I want to see how you vibe. I want to see a sense of your energy. So yes, my website will be the go-to. I also have Instagram, and my Instagram handle is NYA Love by Chi. That's BYCHI. So NYA Love by Chi. You can send me a DM if you wish. I do have people DM me all of the time. So if you're like more of like an Instagram type person, you don't really want to go on the website, that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. NYA Love by Chi. That way you can direct message me. Another platform, well, not even a platform, but you can email me directly. Just email me if you want. My email address is funandlovewithchi@gmail.com. So again, funandlovewithchi@gmail.com. Because most people that come to me are looking for someone they can have fun with and someone they can just love on for eternity. So I like to combine the two if possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the best ways to reach me. I do recommend my website though, because it has a lot of information that many have found very helpful. So.
Wow. Thank you so much. This has been a very refreshing and fun conversation. I'm so happy that we linked up. And once again, like I said, to all my kings and queens that may tune in, if you're single, hey, don't let the pandemic stop you. You can still be out there if you're ready to date and meet that partner. Hey, matchmaking may be the thing for you. We heard the expert right here. She has all the tools and some great insight on just how you truly can love again. So thank you so much, Ms. Chi, for being a guest. And thank you to everyone that has tuned in to the Q Chat podcast. And remember, as Ms. Chi and I discussed, I always mention self-worth. It is super important. And just heal. Make sure that you're free. Because in order to love someone, you have to love yourself. So you guys know what I'm going to say, how I end all my episodes, and that is to go love yourself. Make sure you love yourself first, and then you can truly have a heart that is ready for love. So thank you, Miss Chi.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you.